Just last week, the Centers for Disease Control cut the recommended isolation and quarantine periods for those who test positive for coronavirus from 10 to 5 days. And now another change could be on the horizon. The CDC is now considering adding a COVID testing requirement to its isolation guidelines.
I think the testing component is a good idea.
As many doctors support the testing requirement, some admit it could delay people from leaving isolation.
Right now, urgent cares, pharmacies, they have lines around the block for testing. It's almost impossible to find home tests. They fly off the shelves too quickly.
But some medical experts believe adding a negative test requirement for those who are asymptomatic to leave isolation is just part of what needs to take place next.
We need to have more tests with Omicron to see what that curve looks like, to see when the bulk of people are no longer contagious.
Previous CDC guidelines are based on research that does not include the new highly contagious Omicron variant.
The previous CDC guidelines, where you had the 10 days, that was based on research studies that were done at the big institutions, and that's using a specialized test that can detect a live virus.
Medical experts admit the constantly evolving guidance can get frustrating for some.
And I think one of the big criticisms so far has not necessarily been the science aspect of it, but the messaging. So the fact that people have been experiencing a lot of different and sometimes contradictory recommendations coming out of these institutions, that's a big source of mistrust.
But until all the answers are available, some medical experts recommend adhering to the previous isolation guidelines.
Now, I'm still advising the old recommendation, which is the 10 days of isolation following symptom onset. That was the original recommendation. And again, that's based on the studies where we can actually see when we get live virus from our patients. Certainly not criticism of the CDC. There's just a lot of concern on the healthcare side of things, that we want to make sure that all decisions are made based on evidence and not necessarily expedience.
In Southfield, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.